Welcome back to the crypto simulation. Just because something happened in the past doesn't mean it has to play out exactly the same way in the future. Tonight we're going to take a look at dominance, go through different kinds of dominance, Bitcoin dominance, ETH dominance, others dominance, and so on. And we're going to analyze what these trends might be telling us about the market, what direction it's going in. Oftentimes dominance can tell you a lot more than in looking at any individual charts. Before I begin though, just a reminder, none of what I talk about is financial advice, and please join my free Telegram group at the Snake Pit, links in the description below. So we have Bitcoin dominance on the weekly, and you'll notice I've drawn a triangle here. It's been pretty bounded by this. I have my long regression band with plus or minus 3 standard deviations from the mean in increments of 0.5. And I've got the Gaussian channel, which has been tight green for almost a year now. This went green in April of 2023. And things are starting to look a little bit heavy, honestly. So this is the 0.5 logarithmic regression line. We've been just banging up against this, and we haven't been able to get above it at all. So what I think could be a likely path for dominance to take would be probably to fall into the green Gaussian. And I think the green Gaussian is probably going to inflect soon, which is an indication of kind of this heaviness up here. It's already kind of flattened out. And usually when you see an inflection, that's a sign of incoming weakness. But of course, we can get a dead cat bounce, just like we did over here in looks like that was in January of 2021. So we might have something similar going on here. Like I said, the past does not have to repeat, although sometimes it does rhyme. So what would a potential path look like if we were to draw it out? This is just speculation, of course. I have no idea exactly what's going to happen. I haven't looked at any other technicals, but if we were to try to just do a miniaturized version, not upside down, but something kind of like what happened in the last cycle, and maybe something kind of like this, we can envision a scenario where Bitcoin dominance kind of dumps towards the median line of the logarithmic channel, and that would maybe around April 2024 or so. Maybe during this time we see altcoins kind of run, Bitcoin dominance kind of chops around, and then maybe gets a final push in the summer. And remember that I did say that a potential top could come in the summer. I don't know that that will be the top for Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin price, but this is a potential scenario. Now, longer term, what I see happening with Bitcoin dominance is just kind of probably bouncing around in this triangle, and triangles break. And the question is, will this break to the upside or will this break to the downside? What I would hope to see is that this triangle would break to the downside. And the reason I would want to see that is because that would be a sign that other projects are picking up steam in this space, and the space as a whole is maturing. We don't want the crypto space only to be about Bitcoin. We want it to be about other projects as well. Yeah, the bull bear power trend is showing diminishing strength of Bitcoin dominance. So this is another sign that we may be heading into maybe an altcoin season pretty soon. And here's perhaps the most telltale sign is the average sentiment oscillator is at a crossover point. Usually when this happens, you get your first bear leg of something. And we've had all this green, and if this crosses, we're going to probably see Bitcoin dominance take a little bit of a dump. Now we'll look at Ethereum dominance. With Ethereum dominance, we had a wild swing in it from the inception of Ethereum in the inception of Ethereum dominance measurement anyway in July 17. We know Ethereum goes back further than this. Came down, big swing there, back up to the top in November 2021. Now, interestingly, the Gaussian channel for ETH dominance, ever since then, you would think it would have turned down, but it's actually just been kind of flat this entire time. We did wick below the logarithmic channel median line, but then we just kind of chopped around right on the median line of the Gaussian channel between 0.5 and 1 standard deviations above the mean. Then we came down to the logarithmic regression median line again in December, actually right on Christmas, held it as support and came up to the bottom of the red Gaussian channel, came down, put in this is a higher low, and now we're going up to test the median line of the red Gaussian channel for Ethereum dominance. So this is actually a fairly, I know I've said that ETH Bitcoin looks like it's about to collapse. The last time I looked at it, that's what I saw. But looking at Ethereum dominance, it's a little harder to see that. Ethereum dominance looks like it's building a little bit of strength. I don't know if this is just a temporary leg up that's going to come back down to put in a final bottom, or if we're going to start to find some strength here. It's really hard to tell just looking at this chart exactly what's going to happen. We are as sideways gets. So in the bull bear power trend, the bears have been firmly in control ever since September 2023 all the way till now even. We're starting to poke our head up here a little bit So, we might be able to, it's like what I talked about in the ETH Bitcoin video, which I'll link here after this video is over so you can watch it. It's like, I feel like we're going to get a little bit of strength. We're going to get like a mini ETH season, but I think it might fade off again into a final capitulation. I'm not sure we're going to see anything like this. I think maybe what we're going to see more of is some chopping, kind of like maybe like here. Something like that, of course, on a much shorter time frame, because I do think strength will return to the Ethereum Bitcoin pair. It just may not return in a big way right now. This may be just kind of like a reversion to the mean kind of situation. Of course, we've been reverting to the mean, but I just mean to like maybe this higher behavior. Maybe we take another stab at it and then get rejected and come back down. That's kind of been my base case. The bull bear power trend is just giving me signals that the bearishness is probably going to take a little break for a while. And the average sentiment oscillator is pretty much confirming that. We have the green crossing above the red, which is a bullish sign. So I do expect to see some bullishness, but I feel it might be a little bit more like this here, or like one of these things here. I don't think we're going to see this giant jump. But I think the worst for Ethereum dominance is over. I don't think we're going to see a prolonged down. I don't think we'll see a prolonged period of bearish behavior out of it for quite a while. Although we could still see a final capitulation come at some point. That is my base case, but I could be wrong and we could head right into ETH season for all I know. I sure wouldn't mind, considering I do hold a lot of Ethereum-based tokens. But what it does appear like is that we are heading into, at the very least, a mini ETH season. Probably one of the most beautiful dominance charts you'll ever see. This is others dominance. This is the dominance of the altcoin market minus the top 10 altcoins. And you can see we've been in a trending up channel for quite some time. And we've gone all the way from upwards of the +3 down to the -3. And really peaked out in 2017. June of 2017, we were at almost, about say, two and a quarter standard deviations above the mean. Hit the mean line in 2017, had a double top in 2018, just getting above the the 1.5 log regression, and now we're just kind of bouncing and chopping, this whole time in here. And January 2021, we put in a bottom that matches the bottom from August of 2019 on the log regression line. This is -1 standard deviations, and we hit that yet again in June of 2023. I do believe that was the bottom, the major bottom for the altcoin market. Ripped right through the red Gaussian. Gaussian has just turned green, and we are sandwiched right between the top of the green Gaussian and the logarithmic regression mean line. And we know anytime that this has happened in the past, we usually have a pretty nice impulsive move. So my gut feeling about an altcoin season coming, and I mean a really major altcoin season coming, may play out. It may very well play out. It does seem to be the most likely situation. It's probably hard for you to see this, but you notice here that the bulls were in charge during, it looks like November, December, and even parts of January. They have lost control somewhat, but I would expect this to tick up again. And it looks like it's kind of trying to do something here. This did put in a lower high, which we do have to kind of note, on February 26th. So, I don't know if we're going to kind of just chop around and go sideways throughout, the rest of this month and into March, or if we're going to, maybe come down a little bit and then blast off. It's kind of hard to say. Odds I would say are that we're closer to blasting off, even if we have to chop around or go down a little bit, than we are to entering another phase like this. I think a phase like this will not come for quite some time. Now we are seeing some weakness right now on the altcoin market, on the average sentiment oscillator. Our most impulsive move, like the best time to the last time to get into the major altcoins before the major blast up was July of 2023. If you were buying altcoins in May or in the bear market, man, and they were good projects, you're probably sitting up a nice number of X's right now. So the average sentiment oscillator peaked, it looks like around October, then came down into December, had a little bit of a dead cat bounce on the average sentiment oscillator, and now we're coming down again. So what I'm anticipating is another bounce. Now, I don't know, I doubt it's not going to be this dramatic. That's unlikely. It could be, but it's very, very unlikely. We usually don't get above 80%, and it looks like we've already gotten pretty darn high. I'm thinking we're going to see something kind of like this maybe play out before we get, altcoins getting wrecked by an impulsive Bitcoin move. So some version of something like this where we kind of kink around a little, and then we have like another altcoin season that moves up, and maybe we come down again into Bitcoin's mania phase. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. I'm not thinking we enter into a new bear phase. We just came out of that. I don't think we're going to enter into a new one right now. I think we're just kind of testing our bullish structure and getting ready to blast off. Okay, this construction here is total 3 dominance. And so this is basically total 3 minus the major stable coins, USDT, USDC, and DAI, that whole thing divided by total market cap. And you can see that this has been a pretty wild ride for this as well. April 2019, we got up to 1.5 standard deviations above the mean, crashed down in September of 2019 to about 1.5 below. And then we kind of like tested the mean line in February 2020, got rejected, tested it again, straddled it throughout late 2020, only to get brutally rejected. This was Bitcoin's mania season. And then once Bitcoin started to cool down a little bit, it was still going up. It dragged the altcoins up with it, and then the altcoin season really kicked off. And altcoins were at the +2 logarithmic regression standard deviation, came down to about +0.5 around the end of the summer lull, and then jumped back up again into our November peak and really maintained quite a bit of strength until they kind of fell off a cliff heading into June of 2022, which was the first major bottom for altcoins. You can see the Gaussian flipped red. We tried to reclaim the Gaussian median line in November 2022. We failed, came back down again underneath the mean, took another shot at it in February 2023, failed again, until finally we put in a major bottom at minus 1.5 standard deviations away from the mean, and then we just have been climbing our way up ever since. The Gaussian channel looks like it's ready to flip green soon. So really, if you hold altcoins, I think you're going to be really happy in the coming months, because this looks strong. This looks like a strong uptrend that is forming, and I think we're in for some really good times. I mean, you see it in others' dominance, and you even see it. I mean, you could even extend this trend line if you wanted to all the way out here, and maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, no pun intended, but that's fun to play with trend lines. Sometimes you go like that if you wanted to. So it is possible we come down and we test this one more time. Like I said, we could see some weakness. I think it would be very short-lived if we did. The Gaussian channel has inflected. That is a sign of strength, and very likely this will be turning green in the coming months. And we should see, as it turns green, we should start to see some pretty major moves out of altcoins in a real altcoin season that will melt our faces off, kind of thing. So that is something I think that we could possibly look forward to. How high could we go? I think it'd be reasonable to expect we can make it probably up here or up here, even somewhere around the 1 to 1.5 logarithmic standard regression standard deviation. So it's like 0.3, 0.31. So that would be the dominance we would be looking for from total 3. So like 32% dominance or somewhere around there. Currently sitting at 22%. So I do expect to see some pretty great moves out of altcoins for the remainder of this year, with the exception of maybe any time when Bitcoin decides to just go absolutely parabolic, if it does that. The bull bear power trend looks really good for total 3 dominance. You can see that we have been holding this median line very well. We've just been kind of doing some sideways chop. The best time to be in the altcoin space in the most recent memory is from October through December. That was absolutely wild. And we're just kind of settling down probably before our next major move up. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for altcoins. So the average sentiment oscillator hit its bottom in June of 2023. That looks like I said the major bottom for our total 3. I don't think we're coming back anywhere close to that. We shot up all the way till October, and we kind of chopped around in here, had another major leg up that peaked in the early part of the new year. And then we've kind of been coming down. So, I mean, it unsurprisingly looks like others' dominance, right? This is others' dominance plus the top 10, which, of course, carry a lot of weight in the space. This excludes Ethereum and it excludes Bitcoin. But, I'm thinking that, maybe we come down a little bit and maybe we do something like this, right? We might, not exactly like this, but I think we're going to get a nice altcoin season coming our way around the halving or thereabouts. Can't tell you what's going to happen in the meantime. We are getting a little bit of bearish convergence, but I would not panic or worry that we're about to head into another situation where the red gets way above the green. I just don't see that happening. It just happened, so we need some green waves in here. Yet another good sign, Tether dominance, which is one of the top stable coins, or the top stable coin, is looking really bearish. So you can see it's below its 40 week and its 10 week. It did try to poke its head above there, but that was just nothing short of a dead cat bounce. Now we are at some levels of horizontal support, so don't be surprised if heading into March we see a little bounce from this. Maybe it's going to test the 10 week again. But I ultimately think this falls to the downside, and maybe that's exactly when altcoin season kicks off. So I think that it's prudent to expect that this trend line could hold on maybe a dead cat bounce, but I don't think it's going to be any stronger than that. So again, all I see in here is altcoin season. It's just flashing at me. Well, thanks for joining me today to talk about dominance, and I think you can see from staring at all the different charts that we probably have a little bit of weakness coming into the market in the near future. I don't think it's going to last for very long, and I think we will turn around and have a nice, really nice run through the halving. I think altcoins are going to pick up some major strength. You may see Ethereum start to recover maybe towards the spring, into the summer. You may see some major moves out of Ethereum. But overall, the whole crypto market is looking really good from a dominance point of view. I think it looks pretty healthy. I like to see stablecoin dominance heading down like this. This is nice. Heading into a nice bear market. It's exactly what you want to see for your crypto market to remain strong. So hard to say exactly where USDT dominance is going to bottom. I just noticed as I'm talking here, I have a way of kind of making these videos go on longer and longer when I start to notice things. But we have a nice little trend line here that we can draw, and you can see that we're actually getting fairly close to that trend line. This is why I was saying this might be the bottoming process for USDT dominance that we kind of carry out through the next few months. And if we get that summer peak for Bitcoin that I'm anticipating, that would actually make a lot of sense for us to chop around here for a while and then peak up and maybe come back down again for another. Maybe Bitcoin gets a secondary top or something like that afterwards. That wouldn't surprise me in the very least. But I am anticipating a major top for Bitcoin to possibly come as soon as August. And I did a video on that. Now, how many ways can you draw a trend line? You can draw a trend line many, many ways. More touch points, the better. So in that case, we've actually already broken the trend line. Hey, that's a really good sign. Maybe we try to back test it and then come down some more. I wouldn't mind that. So anyways, thank you again for joining me in the crypto simulation. Be sure to join my free Telegram group, the Snake Pit. I have links in the video description and in my bio for more great content to help you navigate the crypto markets that are just so difficult and challenging to navigate. That's why people like me exist, to help you with that. Also, be sure to follow me here on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed. That helps get my content out. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. That means a lot to me. Comments you leave, suggestions, feedback also mean a lot to me. And just share this with others. Share the good news with other people. Altcoin seasons looks like it's coming in the not too distant future, folks. So if you could just hang on through what might be a little period of weakness coming up, I think you'll be just golden on the other side. So until next time, have a great day or night wherever you are. See you later.